You hear that? The table's back, boys! That's awkward. That is really cringe. I know you guys love my table videos. Like, literally the last video I did with a table got 600,000 views. And I know some of you might claim that wasn't because of the table, but because of the content, but prove it. Prove that I didn't get the views because of the table. So you might be wondering what I'm planning on doing today, and you should have just read the title. I'm ranking the Pixar films. This is actually a video a lot of people want to see, and I haven't done it before because I just never really knew how to go about it. Like, yeah, I could write a 30-minute video going into why I like or dislike each one of the films and spend like a month making it and then not upload for it. You can see why this is a bad idea. Another option could be to collaborate with someone and then discuss the films with them while you rank them, but, well, I never asked anyone if they wanted to do it with me, so that never happened. Which is why when the whole tier list trend started, I was like, wow, genius idea. I could make a Pixar films tier list video in like 5 months' time once the trend's completely dead and no one wants to watch those videos anymore. Which brings us to today, because today I'm going to be making a Pixar film ranking again, the title. So I spent the last hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours making this tier list template on Preview, which is the Apple equivalent of Paint, but worse in pretty much every way. I couldn't actually find what the official names of each of the tiers were, so I thought that gives me leeway to just make up what each tier is. So I'm going to go through what each of the tiers are and name them as we go. So firstly, bottom tier, worst tier, I'm just going to call you for unwatchable because, I mean, yeah, no, it's that simple. I don't think any of the Pixar films fit into that tier, but we'll get back into that later. Second bottom tier, I'm going to call F tier. That's a pretty good name for the, like, second lowest tier, isn't it? Like, an F. You've got a U, you've got an F. I'm gonna call this, average. I think if it's a pretty average film, like, it's not the Pixar standard, because Pixar make pretty good films, that's gonna go in average tier. So that's A tier. Down at the bottom for some, yeah, okay. So we're getting to the mid tiers now, and I'm gonna call this one M for, well, literally mid tier. Then onto the positive side, I'm gonna call this one P. O for positive opinion. I have a positive opinion of that film, basically meaning it's good. I could have just called it G, but no, it's PO. And that's going to be I tier for incredible. You can already predict what film might go in there. Second tier from the top we're going to call perfect because, I mean, Pixar do have some perfect films, and that's the second tier. And I know you're thinking, what could be the top tier then? And this is what I love about the tier list, because any other Pixar rankings, everyone's just going to call me biased for putting Toy Story films at the top and not putting, like, any other films at the top. So I'm just going to make a Toy Story tier. Just TS. Literally just for the Toy Story films. I'm going to throw all 4 Toy Story films up the top here. Toy Story, Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, and Toy Story 4 all go in the Toy Story tier. They're all, like, in a league of their own, so I'm literally going to let them be in a league of their own. And, yeah, that's where we're starting. All the Toy Story films, Toy Story tier, and that clears a lot of the board right from the start. So I guess we've got to go into the next film. I'm going to go Ratatouille next. It's an interesting one to start, I know you're probably thinking. And that is very true. Ratatouille, for most people, would probably be mid-tier. But I do think it's better than being mid-tier. So I'm actually going to go as far as to say PO. I think it's very, very good. And I would actually say it's closer to being incredible than it is to being mid-tier. I think it's a well-made film. It tells a really good story. And yeah, PO, I really do like Ratatouille. Don't have much more to say. I think if you're putting it in mid-tier, you're wrong. Next up, we're going to go with Inside Out. Now, Inside Out, I think, is pretty similar to Ratatouille in my head. I think they're both pretty good films, but because Inside Out came at such a long period of sequels and some not so good films, I actually have a more positive opinion of it because it came in a rut. And Ratatouille didn't come in a rut. Ratatouille came in a pretty good era of Pixar films, which is why I think Inside Out is going to be incredible tier, because I think if I watched them all in one sitting, I'd probably rank them similarly, but because of when it came out, at the time, I would have said Inside Out's a better film. I'm going to actually pick a film I have a lot to say about next, and that's why I want to talk about Cars. Cars is going in the mid-tier. I just don't think it's a very good concept. Like, cars coming to life and then just existing in the world, the human world as well, with no humans, just doing things that humans could be doing, but being Cars. Like, I get it's revolving around racing, but still. I think the original Cars is actually a good story, but just a terrible concept, which is why it makes the mid-tier rather than average, because it's a well-told story with an average concept, which kind of saves it a little, but when the Cars story also becomes average, you have Cars 2, which is going in the second from bottom tier. I wouldn't say it's unwatchable because I've watched it twice, but I do think it's F. I would give it an F. It's not a good film. I don't ever want to watch it again. If you replace the cars with humans, it would actually make more sense. So it further goes against the concept that it's set into motion. But anyway, next up, I want to talk about A Bug's Life, which I think A Bug's Life is a solid film. It's probably the one I haven't seen in the longest time on this list right now. Yeah, I love this film growing up, and for that reason, I think that is going to go with Ratatouille in the green tier, which I can't remember. It's positive opinion. Yeah, I have a positive opinion on A Bug's Life. I need to watch it again. The next film on the list I want to talk about may be one of my most unpopular Pixar opinions, so just brace yourself, because unpopular opinion, but WALL-E is kind of overrated. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, WALL-E's a good film. I'm not denying that in any stretch of the imagination. I have a positive opinion of WALL-E, but I don't think it's Pixar's best film. I don't think it probably doesn't make top 10. It definitely doesn't make top 10, matter of fact. I know that's going to be an unpopular opinion because this is top of the list for a lot of people. And again, I do like it, but when it comes to Pixar, I do think it's probably just good. It's not great. It's not up there with the best. So, yeah, WALL-E, positive opinion, but it's no Up, which I think goes next to Inside Out in Incredible. I think Up is maybe Pixar's saddest... No, it's definitely Pixar's saddest film. I know Toy Story 3, but I think Up is sadder. Toy Story 3 has other things going for it. Up is known for its sadness, and I think it is an incredible film. Both Up and Inside Out are made by Pete Docter, the same director, so they are level with each other. I really couldn't separate the two of them, and I definitely think they are up there with Pixar's best films, and it feels bad not to put them in the perfect tier, but in my opinion, they aren't quite perfect. But you know what it is? Incredibles. That was Incredibles 2 that I just picked up. The Incredibles is one of Pixar's perfect films. I can't think of much wrong with The Incredibles. And I know, how can I not put it in the Incredible tier? I didn't even realize. If it was incredible, it would go in the Incredible. No, it's perfect. I think Incredibles is one of their best stories. It came before superhero films were half the films I watched in cinemas. Like, this was probably the first ever superhero film I ever saw, and I've been sold on them ever since, so it's just too good to be considered just incredible. Like, no, it's better than Incredible. I'm not having anything saying it's Incredible should be incredible. It's not. Next up on the list, I want to talk about Brave. Now, Brave, this is going to be one of my more unpopular opinions, I think. I'm putting Brave mid-tier. I think this is a weak Pixar film. I remember I didn't realize it was Pixar until it came out to DVD. Because it was like a Disney princess film. I genuinely just thought it was a Disney film. And it was kind of just like Brother Bear, honestly. And I get there's the whole feminism aspect to it, but I'm not a girl, so maybe it just doesn't resonate with me as well. And if you are a girl or a boy and it did resonate with you, then I can see why it would be higher on your list. But for me, it's mid-tier. It's with Cars. I'm sorry. That's just how it be. Next up, I want to talk about Finding Nemo, which I think might just be another unpopular opinion. But I think Finding Nemo is only popular opinion. Popular, positive opinion. I actually watched this one a few months ago, which is a lot more recently than some of the others, because I don't just sit and watch Pixar films all day, contrary to popular belief. It wasn't as good as I've bigged it up to be in my head, to be honest. This is the Lion King of Pixar films, being that I would probably rank it higher if everyone didn't overrate it and say it was the best. Like, The Lion King isn't the best film in the world, and it really annoys me. Finding Nemo is the same thing. Like, it is a really good story. It's a great tale of a father and a son, and I love it. I love the dynamics. I love the characters. It's much better than the sequel, which I'll get into in a bit, but it's not the best Pixar film. It's good. it's not incredible. Cars 3, oh my god, I forgot to do Cars 3 when I was doing Cars films. That's gonna really bug people if I just left it down there, won't it? Cars 3. What can I say about it? It's the one I've watched the least. I've watched Cars 2 twice. I watched Cars 3 once. The only positive thing I can say about it is that it was better than Cars 2. But that's not great. It's there. It goes below Cars, above Cars 2. That's the official Cars rankings. And you'd thought 2017 would therefore be a bad year for Pixar films, but fortunately they pulled through with Coco, which makes incredible tier because Coco is absolutely incredible. It's Pixar's best soundtrack. Is that? I mean, like, Toy Story is amazing, but I think Coco is more of a musical than Toy Story. Unpopular opinion or something, but yeah, Coco is a musical. In terms of Pixar's original films in the last 10 years, Coco and Inside Out, Saving Graces, and they are up there with the best Pixar films. Amazing stories, both ridiculously sad, like, you can't sit through them without crying, can you? I still remember the first time I went to see Coco. I made a whole video about it. That was one of the best days of my life, and I was tired, bored, and alone for most of the day. So it really is a great film, and it's made by Lee Unkrich, so I mean, what more can I say? Finding Dory. Oh wow. This one I was genuinely considering going as far to say that this could go level with Cars 3, but it isn't that bad. It isn't that bad. It is mid-tier. There's not much more to it. It's not as good as Finding Nemo, but it's also not bad. Like, I don't think the story was that great. Like, it was about Dory finding herself, I guess. It was just filled with stuff that, oh yeah, this is why this is the way it is. Or, did that make any sense? Oh yeah, this is why she sings Just Keep Swimming, because her parents taught it. This is why she can speak whale, because she had a whale friend. But it all just felt so retconned, like, I don't know if that's the right word, but it clearly wasn't their intention when they made Finding Nemo. Let's talk Monsters University, because I think this is going to be another massive unpopular opinion, because I'm saying this is perfect. I know this is, like, kind of unpopular. I think a lot of people think it's nothing compared to Monsters, Inc., and yeah, I kind of get it. I would actually say, as a film, it's better than Monsters, Inc. I really love it. I still remember when I went to see it in cinemas, that is one of the most feel-good feelings I've ever had coming out of a film. Like, I was like, wow, I loved that. And I really just can't put it into words. There's so many scenes that I think define the Monsters series better from Monsters University, Monsters Inc. Like, that scene at the lake, I think that's the best scene in the whole Monsters series. I really do. You've also got so much great character development with twists, and I love, like, the whole game part of it. Like, it always reminded me a little of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire in a weird way, where, like, they have the Triwizard Tournament. I love films like that. They're similar. Is this a weird comparison to make, that Monsters University is similar to Harry Potter and the Goblet? I don't know. I really, really love Monsters University, and my only small complaint of it might be, and again, I'd still say it's perfect despite this, is that it might not be a perfect prequel. It's a perfect film, but maybe not a perfect prequel, because I don't know how well it follows in. The ending is slightly rushed, there's some continuity errors, but other than that, nothing really wrong with it. I could watch Monsters University all day. Which I guess brings me on to Incredibles 2. Yeah, you weren't expecting that one, were you? Which I'm actually going to give some high praise and put that on the incredible tier. It's incredible, right? I do still believe The Incredibles is better, but that isn't a criticism of a film. You can't criticize a film by saying another film is better than that film, even with a sequel. And I think if you watch this film in its own right, it's a great story, it's a great film, and it's also a good sequel. It might be Pixar's funniest film. Toy Story 4's up there. Ducky and Bunny are hilarious, but Incredibles 2 is up there with Pixar's best, and I'm putting it at a high level. It's up there with Inside Out, Up, and Coco. The Good Dinosaur. This feels harsh to put it down with Cars 3, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna put it mid-tier. Some people would argue this could be Pixar's worst film, and yeah, it's not that great. It has an okay concept. It could have been much better, and I think that's the problem with The Good Dinosaur. But all in all, I think the animation is so good, and I don't think it's bad. I could watch The Good Dinosaur. I wouldn't show it to anyone. I think it's mid-tier. I think mid-tier isn't mid-tier on this list because it's 4 of the bottom 6 films, but Like, which finally brings me on to Monsters, Inc. You're probably wondering why I left Monsters, Inc. until last. Like, I even mentioned going for it after Monsters University. And there's a reason why I left Monsters, Inc. till last. And this is going to be a bigger twist. What's the best twist in all Pixar films? Because Monsters, Inc. is so good. I'm putting it in the Toy Story tier. You may think, what? You can't do... I can do whatever I want. This is my list. Monsters, Inc. is that good. It's my 5th favourite Pixar film. And I hate saying that because how can Monsters, Inc. be 5th on a Pixar list? I do genuinely believe Monsters, Inc. is Pixar's cleverest film. I love the Toy Story films. I don't think anyone's saying I don't, but this film is such a clever concept. The idea behind monsters having to scare children because they need children's screams to power the energy in their world is just genius. But the thing with Pixar films, and this applies to the films like Inside Out and The Incredibles and Coco, is they don't just need a good concept, but they also have to have a good story that goes with it. It has this whole plot of Sully finding Boo and wanting to return her to the human world, but then having this father-daughter relationship where he really grows to love Boo. And there's so many emotional moments in it. I think it's hilarious. Like, just that opening scene where they're going off to work, there's so many things that happen that literally still crack me up. And I know I'm not the target of that humor. That's like children's humor. And I crack up at it. I love Mike Wazowski's humor. I love Roz. I genuinely think this is Pixar's best film, other than the Toy Story. I don't want to spend forever talking about it, but if you want to hear my full thoughts on Monsters, Inc., I actually featured on a podcast recently where I spoke about Monsters, Inc., so I'll leave a link to that in the description down below on the top line. If you want to go check that out, yeah, I think that'd be really cool. And yeah, that is my ranking of the Pixar films. I think that's a pretty solid ranking. I think there are a few unpopular opinions in there, but mostly that's probably pretty normal list, pretty mainstream. And yeah, I guess that's all I've got for you guys there. I'm sure you guys will want to comment your opinions on where you rank the Pixar films and where you think I'm wrong, and maybe you can explain why a film's better than it is, and I'll watch that film and realize I'm wrong and make an adjustment to the list, because my opinions on films change a lot, so this list won't even, like, define my opinions in a month's time, I can guarantee you that. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to leave a like and go subscribe to my channel by clicking this thing here. You can watch another Pixar video by clicking here. You can also go support me on Patreon here and in the description down below. Everyone who supports me loves supporting me, I think. At least they tell me they do, so I'm sure you'll love it too. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.